A huge shout out to the overthinkers.
An overthinker. He watches the show.
To the overthinkers, shout out Buffet too.
Keep inspiring the next generation.
Shout out to the overthinkers. Thando kuphela. Much love.
To my overthinkers, mamela ubuchopho ngeke buphume buyakhula nizinja nikhokho yazini as overthink siya overachieve.
I'm stealing that. I've stolen that one. I've stolen it.
Welcome, everybody to the Overthinking Football Show. My name is George MOKWENA. I am your host. The show is on every Monday to Thursday at 7 p.m. and also on Fridays at 12:30, where I'm not breadwinners one we get to choose the show. I think one of the most incredible things that has happened ever since I started this channel is a community that we've been able to build on that side, where I get to hear from people that I never would have thought existed, and you get to hear some of the smartest people that I see here in the comments, that I see when you guys come on. So it really is really cool to be able to speak to people like that and learn even more in the WhatsApp group. If you want to be part of the WhatsApp group, go on over to YouTube, click on subscribe, click on join, and you'll be able to gain access to the WhatsApp group. For those who are watching for the first time, or others that didn't, that have watched before on other platforms and are wondering, there's always voices on the show. If you want to be part of my panels and actually add your voice live to the show, excuse me, you have to be following me on TikTok and join me live while I'm on TikTok right now. Those who are watching on YouTube, there'll come a time where I'll open up the lines. Bottom of your screen, there's going to be two people, a blue person and a pink person hugging each other. It's called multi-guest. Click on that button, request, jump in, and you can have your say with what's going to happen. Guys, today we're going to speak about all things Nedbank Cup. Today is the Nedbank Cup show, and we're going to start by breaking down two games that happened over the weekend. Unfortunately, I couldn't be here, guys, but I'm going to break down two games and then speak about the draw that happened now at 6 o'clock. So let's get it started with Orlando Pirates, who beat the Hungry Lions 4-0. Hungry Lions, of course, coming from NFD. Pirates was having fun, guys. Pirates came out and dominated that game. I think this week has shown us that there are teams that come from the NFD and there are teams that come from the PSL. Milford also was in action, for example, versus the Stellenbosch. They managed to catch 6. And I'm not going away, Milford. They couldn't save us who support a certain team from embarrassment by at least throwing or doing something. But anyway, that is how it is. I'm going to open straight up so that we can have the chat, and then we'll more focus on the draw that happened now at 6 o'clock. So we're going to speak Orlando Pirates versus Hungry Lions, and we're going to speak Mamelodi Sundowns, who played Maritzburg United. So guys, feel free to request. Remember that you have to be following me in order to jump in. Guys, we're starting with Orlando Pirates, guys. We're starting with Orlando Pirates. So Orlando Pirates, guys, jump in. Let's have a conversation about the team and where it sits. Malume Kutso, welcome to the show, my brother. How are you?
Mr. OT, mina ngimnandi njani? Yo, kemakadima.
Yebana. Kana kamontlung. Anyway, Malume Kutso. Phela wena malume show, I don't care rabuti. Tell me, what do you think about the game that you guys played versus the Hungry Lions? What were your general thoughts?
Look, Mr. OT, yes, the Hungry Lions can give themselves a pat on the back. Courageous first half. They also had some good players. I'm players who, in a different team or with confidence, they can do better. I saw that there's a winger there. Problematic Nyana could have killed us that one. But good feedback, Mr. Uchi. I don't know why.
Let me see. Is it fine now?
Yeah. Actually,
okay,
no, it's
okay,
not, but I'm just gonna soldier on.
Okay.
So mina ngabanika ama point, Mr. Uti, even though but consider it's getting bad. But consider.
I'm just gonna soldier on.
Hey, guys, I don't know what's happening.
Go out and try and come back in.
Yeah, go out and try come back in, and then we can, because it doesn't seem to be on our side. Prampo, welcome to the show. How are you?
Sepana.
All right, Prampo.
No, I'm using mic. Get a cosa echo. Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Prampo, we
Mute again, boss. Mute, please.
Pirates.
Mute, boss. Thank you.
Prampo?
Sure. I'm audible.
Prampo. Yeah, you're audible. We want to join game of Pirates, Hungry Lions.
No, what I like about Pirates, they show like, they are a big team, you understand? Because those teams, when you get the small teams, make sure that, you beat them thoroughly so that, they don't come tomorrow and say, okay, we match pound to pound with, like Chiefs, what they are doing. And you know what I pick up about this small team? When they play against this other big team, it's like, there's a possessed with something else. But when they play among themselves, it's something else, you understand? You're surprised, okay, it's the same team that they were playing last week. But as for Pirates, the way they play so that, they are playing in elite league. I like Chiefs, understand? Yeah, they did play well, Pirates. I give, thumbs up for Pirates.
Mara Hungry Lions, it's late up until the 66th minute at least. It's on goal fella.
No, like experience that counts. Experience. That's the other thing that the Pirates they materialize. Like you can see even the Pirates player when they play. You can see even their body language. They want to win. That's what I like. They've got this so-called fighting spirit. That's what, according to the way I saw the game.
Hey. Okay.
Yeah. They've got this, yeah. Let's make it better fun, eh?
Go on, Prampo, go on. I'll let you just finish that point before moving on. Oh,
like I said, okay. We've got a challenge in network, but let's give somebody a chance. You understand?
Let me bring it over. Vovo, welcome to the show. How are you? You can just unmute them, Vovo.
OT, very.
I'm right, man. Vovo, tell me, Vovo. Pirates 4-0 Hungry Lions. What were your thoughts about the game?
Yeah, it was a good game. Yeah, it was a good game to watch. Pirates, it's a big team, everyone knows. Yeah, on paper, Vele. They were my favorites. Hungry Lions. Underdogs, Vele. Because Vele by team, man. Yeah. Hayi Pirates ayidlale uthi abafana abancane yashaya enasikhathi sokujika ayikuri 1 ayikuri 2 so amathimi amancane ayabulala enasikhathi Hungry Lion nabo bashayiwe vele i-experience behlezi vele izobakhawatha uyabona Pirates nabo abantu bajwayele ukuwina ama-cup yeah bayiwinile Nedbank before most of the players abadlala lapha they won Nedbank before so bayazi ukuthi kule stage kumele kwenziweni kanjani isikhathi bani yabo so yeah kudlaliwe khona congrats to Pirates and then speedy recovery to Makaula Abishapu yeah, it's one of the great players and it's one of the players I like to watch. Pirates vela ngifavor. I'm not to support the Pirates, but to Makaula, quality player, so speedy recovery to him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm
gonna come back, Vovo. Malume Kutso, I think we're good now. Do you still have feedback?
I should be better. I think Buguvo.
No stress, no stress.
Who has been problematic. But
Where were we?
Mr. Mosimane, we also have to give kudos to the Pirates for fielding a strong lineup.
Yeah.
No mistake. I think all the strong players were on the pitch. So I want to give kudos to the Pirates, and then also point out to something that you had highlighted with Ayman. This might be a problem, and to further extend on it and say, I think it's on my side, but it's fine. To further extend on it and say, Utito would have been in the national team a long time ago if we had kept the team we started with at the start of the season. And switching the team switched a lot of things, and because we've somewhat gone back to that team, Yagasaleng, Maswangai, as well as Mufukeng, it seems like we're back on song, we're back free scoring. Amakul Besugunzima, Mr. Uti, for us to keep goals. One might say, no, it's just Hungry Lions and Crystal Lakes, but if one would jog their memory, you'll remember that during that time, it was even difficult to get goals against weaker opposition, Mr. Uti. So it's an improvement on that side, and I think it's how many goals? Is it 7 goals in the space of a week?
Yeah.
I won't count the Crystal Leagues as much, but we have to acknowledge, we see it brought us 6 goals, something that had been difficult for maybe 3 to 4 months, Mr. Uti. So I'll give kudos to the Pirates, and also for a European coach. I know it's the culture at Pirates, but for a European coach to allow Maswangai to dance on the ball whenever he wishes to, and for Maswangai to do it effectively within a matter of 2 seconds, entertain the crowd, move the ball. I saw Mufukeng do that as well. I think we also have to applaud when a kasi flavor is used constructively. So with that, Mr. Uti, Minang Chablich.
Okay. Let me see. Lord, welcome to the show. You can unmute and jump in.
Thank you, Putwa man.
All right, Putwam.
Phila futhi kuhle kunjani kuwe?
Hayi man, mina ngimnandi ngitshele Lwazi. Nayi Pirates ishayi Hungry Lions 4-0. Uyibona njani game?
Yes. I actually like game there, bro. It was, how can I say? I did not expect Hungry Lion to come at us like that, yabo.
Hungry Lion to come at us like that.
Yabo. The way Pirates be dlaling ngakhona kula match, bro. I don't want to lie. Pirates was playing a high line, I would say, because Hungry Lion was sitting back and they were relying on counter attacks. And Koki and CBC are not our quickest center backs. And my captain, my skipper, Umayela, Umayela Agasaziyeli Umayela. He's no longer the same ever since he came back from an injury. There was a boy, Hungry Lion, Libele Kaikamala lakhe ngubani. That kid, he was making Umayela wish he was back in his prime, because that boy there been petty straight to Umayela. And whatever happened, that thing that happened Gomakawula, it was a blessing in disguise, though it was a sad thing for us to see. But when Makawula came out and Umbata came in for a team, I don't want to lie. Thank God for Udlamini, because Pirates started to play. And now it takes me back to the thing of, does Pirates need 2 DM midfielders? Or do we need one and a player like Utim next to Udlamini, so that Udlamini can give those forward passes to Umabasa? Because if you think back, Mabasa was not really getting the balls before Udlamini came on the field. It was only when Udlamini came in, that's when Pirates started to play. Everybody was moving. And I don't want to lie, for a good 50 minutes of the game, I was like, nah, we are going straight to penalties now. We're going straight to penalties. I was afraid. But yet the mighty lords of football were on us, and we won. Right now, I'm just looking forward to the final, and I'm thinking, what if the coach can put Umabasa as well, maybe as Ulipasa, 2 strikers. I'm thinking, because now I'm thinking forward, because clearly Amazulu is our bet. We're going to the final with the Sundowns.
So champion Amazulu.
So I bet Amazulu straight and for not because if you think back, I think they were our last game clay season in Pele. If I remember correctly, I think they were our last game. So I bet. So now this is what Pinda Food will do the same. Now our mind is not on Amazulu. Amazulu are just not, I don't want to say an obstacle, but they are like a speed hump. Speed hump, it's easy. You go over them. Then you throw your pambil, you see.
Yeah.
My main focus now with Sundowns, with 2 strikers, I'm telling you, I'm not afraid of RULANI.
Okay. I'm going to come back. There's a question I want to ask. Let me just bring in Sean. Sean, welcome to the show. How are you?
Hi, good evening, men. Hi, we beat Hungry Lions, now we want Sundowns. Hey, guys.
Let's start with Hungry Lions. You guys beat Hungry Lions. How did you see this game?
No, it was, it's hard to judge. I knew just from listening to the coach that they're gonna sell this game, and they sold it, Shem. I mean, somebody comes on and he starts talking about, I wanna shake Ivan Khoza's hand. You should know. You wants to shake Ivan Khoza's hand. Jiggy, there's an own goal, there's a red card, they lose 4-0. He's just happy to be there, man. Like, that coach was happy to be there. I watched Sundowns play against Maritzburg, and you could see Maritzburg was trying. Maritzburg came there to compete. I don't think Hungry Lions was there to compete, guys. I really don't. I mean, Orlando Pirates did what they were supposed to do. You come against these teams, you need to show them where they are. What's their reality? They're in an NFD, you're a PSL team. They're gonna come here and enjoy the moment whenever you mean business. So you're gonna score 4 goals, and that's okay. But I really just feel like playing for such a coach is disheartening, because he has very good players, and I feel like the ideas that they had would have come out if only this coach came, to compete, and he wanted to compete. He was just happy to be there. It had nothing to do with competing. He forgot what the Nedbank Cup is about. You go there, you make a name for yourself, you show what your players can do. I mean, even the team that lost 6-1 was trying. They were trying to compete, but that team is 8 months old, compared to Hungry Lions. So it was a good game. I won't lie. It was a good game. It was easy for you to see exactly what Orlando Pirates is trying to do, what their players are trying to do. But it's very difficult to be sure, because there hasn't been really, like I said, guys, the game against Kaizer Chiefs, I don't count it. You understand? Because Kaizer Chiefs is no longer a non-team. It's like I just feel like they are models. But anyway, we are not there. I mean, there's a player they call Slay Queen at Kaizer Chiefs. It's crazy. But anyway, imagine, you guys are in trouble, Chef. You guys are in trouble. But Orlando Pirates played well, guys. Me, I won't take that away from them. They played well. They did what they were supposed to do as a big team, and they looked convincing doing it. I mean, the goals that was scored by Mabasa. And this is the thing, about why. You see, the problem with Pirates is they've had so many strikers that they didn't know which one was good for what. And Mabasa is very important in as a striker for me. He's the type of striker that South Africa needs. But I hoped he was going to leave Pirates, but it seems like they might just keep him and let go of Lepasa. We will see what happens. But yeah, man, it was a good game.
Okay, I wanna go back to Prapo. Prapo, I'm hearing that, man, this was a confidence boost for the players. I'm hearing that maybe Jose has figured out team high they've been scoring goals freely. Can they replicate these things in the league, or is it just because nearly Hungry Lions, nearly Chiefs, nearly Crystal League? And then also, does a better team take advantage, especially defensively, as Ulwaz was pointing towards Bomaela, Libos BC being a bit slow? Does a better team take advantage of them?
Again, if we get a smaller team like Angry Lion, it's where a player get confident. If you can manage, or it is a player that us, they get that confident. But if going further for Pirates, I don't see Pirates they can match Sundowns pound to pound because the way they play, you can see coach doesn't have a solid starting 11. Said okay, this one I'm going with this one. If maybe I'll substitute when somebody get injured. It's like he always chopping and changing the play, the players. It doesn't have a stable starting 11. Likely, like this Angry Lion, if they utilize, like as it said, look, utilize the back line of Pirates is very slow. If they attack that, the Angry Lion, they attack, they were supposed to score. Because even themselves, even the stage fright, it was there for them. You understand? That's the other thing that I pick up. But if they can get a team that is playing on the same level with them, I don't see Pirates going any further on this competition. According to my observation, like if they play like a team like Amazulu, they can end up going to the penalty. The Pirates they are playing, but they don't have that confidence. Okay, you can bet on Pirates that okay, this game they're gonna win. They just win because it was Lady Lucky was on their side. So it's how I observe the game. Even like you can compare Sundowns, you can see like Marisbeck where they play Sundowns. You can see almost 90% Marisbeck they were chasing game. And now Sundowns they've got a backbone. Like Pirates, I don't see anywhere. If I can put my head today on the block, I said Sundowns they're gonna win this cup.
Okay. I'm gonna come back. Let me go to Vovo. Same question to you. Yes, the Pirates win a 4-0 versus Hungry Lions. Yes, Shy Crystal Lake. Yes, they scored a lot of goals versus Kaizer Chiefs in that comeback win. But then when you look at the other things, Cape Town Spurs 1-1, Polokwane City 0-0. Is this the formula that Jose must play with from now going forward? Can they take this form into the league? Or will a better team, let's say Amazulu, next round, be able to maybe take advantage of the Pirates?
OT. Mina, I'm saying, hence umpo asho ukuthi Amazulu izoba knock out. Nami ngiyavuma. I agree with that because I think bebadlala nama smaller teams whereby lama smaller teams lawa mabaye gaming they scared ukuthi yesat sodlala ne Pirates yabona stage fright yabo so mangaba bangathola i-team efana neAmazulu like njengoba bathole yona believe you me bazobona i-problem. Yeah, I understand. Amazulu wasn't scoring. I think it was first round of the season. Bebanga scored that much, but now they came back. They trying to score more goals. Each and every game, at least they trying to score. So a move.
I think we're
Pirates,
cutting
it's
there.
a bit shaky.
I think we're cutting there. I'm gonna take you off just
Hence,
because there's a bit of feedback.
Angana like table back four. Yeah, but so they going to have a problem. You understand? Mabanga actually team is strong. I think Amazulu they are strong up front. X-Teen is on form.
Okay, I think we just had a bit of a delay there. Unfortunately for Uvovo, network was just doing things to him. Marume Kutso, same question. Yes, it looks good. The Hungry Lions, Crystal Lake, Kaizer Chiefs, you know what the derby is. But can this form be replicated? Or is it a case that if they do get a better team, we might be looking at maybe a Cape Town Spurs type situation?
I'm sending feedback. I'm just going to social one. Mr. Utiazi, we actually beat Polokwane City, and it's unfair to suggest that Strawwell in the Polokwane City. Amazulu that people are saying is a better team before the Nedbank Cup victory. They had actually lost 5 games. They actually failed to win in 5 games. Losing to Sundowns, drawing Nabo Swallows. So I don't know why I would look at Amazulu as a superior team. Would say, where do we get that data? Which Amazulu is more superior. One could argue that they're in the same boat as Hungry Lions. When we check at teams like that, I'm shocked you're already talking Sundowns, but I think anyway,
I don't want to speak about Sundowns.
let me entertain it. The last time we played against Sundowns, for a better part of the game, we played with 10 men, and we were trailing with 10 men, and we restored parity with 10 men, and arguably the most superior opponent we can get in the league, and that was Sundowns. So I'm struggling to really point to teams where I can say, nah, it's team as dominator. You understand, Mr. The last time we played, the last time there was a result in the Sundowns Pirates game, Go Capo, it was a 3-0 win for Pirates. The other one before that was a draw, and it ended with victory for Pirates, Cody penalty. You understand, Mr. Uti? Yes, I still have to kind of give agent Kompazami. Yes, we can still patch up things here and there, Mr. Uti. But we also have to be fair. I'm shocked to Hungry Lions was selling the game. Hungry Lions was actually coming at us. They had proper shots on target. They went in behind. They stretched us. You understand, Mr. Uti? Unlike a certain team that when they play against Pirates, they turn into kickboxers. They kick us, Mr. Uti. So to suggest to Hungry Lions sold the game, I think is unfair and unfortunate. They tried, but unfortunately, the bigger team, when things are all fair, they'll always come to the fore. And by the way, the red card that we got, we didn't score 4 goals because we had a red card. By the time we got that red card was considered, we were on our way to scoring, actually. That's how the red card came up. It was a clear denial of an obvious goal scoring opportunity. Not to which we started scoring goals because short. No. We must be fair. With Amazulu, I'm shocked. Do people even know which Inama strength Amazulu? And this is not like disrespectfully. They're hardly ever televised. So anyone who's saying Amazulu can do something, it's a pure thumbs up. You understand? And personally, I will focus on Amazulu. Any Pirates fan who's gonna talk about Sundowns and Interzinjalo, they must please submit their forms, which they are really Pirates members or they're coming from Chiefs. Those are Chiefs tendencies. Here at Pirates, you focus on the next opponent. You don't ask for an opponent which give us bang bang. If you ask for Sundowns, you must prove which you are a Pirate supporter. Post your membership here on the group. I'm sure you can turn on your camera. Please, let embarrass.
No, well, what I will say, Balubekutsa, from my side is not that Amazulu is better. I just wanted to say better than Bo Hungry Lions. So, for example, Cape Town Spurs is not the best team in the league, but you drew, for example. So the question was more geared to that. Hey, Ababang Baring, it's better. I don't even know they're going to win. I'm just asking that question from my side.
Can I just point to something else, Mr. Uti, that I think is working for Pirates? It just slipped my mind because I was going into defensive mode. The use of Utim and Umakehleni at the same time. And as much as it looks negative, Pirates is more attacking when we have that duo. That is because I think it allows Utito and game to have your freedom. And also, it allows that one striker who people keep rating him as a midfielder, as a left midfielder. He is a left winger in the form of Abu Salah. It allows him to be a striker and have shots on target. And I'm talking about Usaling. Of course, then whoever Mabasa Mahopa also can get into the game. So, in as much as it looks negative that we have Utim and Umakaula, it's freedom for the two guys, man, and they're using their freedom very nicely.
Okay. I want to bring it to Loas. Can Pirates do this versus PSL level, King PSL level teams? Or is it just the thing that we're going to see versus Hungry Lions? We're going to see in a derby because adrenaline is high. Mara, otherwise, is it something that can be replicated? Or do you think that a better team than Hungry Lions, aka like Amazulu, ingayenza something?
No, I think Pirates can do it, but the only thing that is like a stumbling block with Pirates, I would say it's mentality. Their mentality. I think that's the only thing that's a stumbling block to them, because if you look at that match that we played against Sundowns, where we were a man down and also a goal down, the mentality shifted, and they wanted it even more. That's why we ended up getting a point out of that match. And even if you look at the match we played against Kaizer Chiefs, and the video that came after the match that of Futito speaking to his teammates saying, guys, come on, we can do this. If we can have that mentality in the PSL against each and every team that we play against, I'm telling you, Pirates can take the number 2 spot, because right now I don't see us taking the number 1 spot, but the number 2 spot can also take us where we want to be. And that's playing the CAF. You see, I strongly believe that's the only stumbling block for my team. And also, Timvile, I think Uncle Kudzo, he was speaking about the combination ka Makehlele and Makawula as well as team. I don't know whether it's me, but for me, it's like that combination only plays a vital role when we're playing against big teams. Yeah, for us against big teams, it plays a vital role, and I like it. But against the Hungry Lions, I didn't see it that much. Even though it was there, but for me, it wasn't that much. Why I'm saying it's because in the first 45 minutes, I don't know how many chances Mabasa got, received the ball in order for us to maybe create a chance to score. How many times did Makehleleni or Utim pass the ball directly to Umabas? The ball was going sideways all the time. People that were getting chance to, okay, we can score, were Saleng as well as Mufukeng on the other side. But Umabas, I don't remember in the first 45 minutes for him getting a chance to kick or score a goal. But in the second half, when Udlamini came in as well as Uhoto came in and Bata came in, that's when we saw, okay, now Pirates can play. I think so. That's what I'm saying. The Makahleleni and Utim, we should have eliminated one of them.
Okay.
In that match. That's my opinion. For us, it wasn't the combination was not communicating for me.
Okay.
And I don't know about Amapagania Wam. I don't know. I'll say, is there a spot for Umayel right now on this Pirates team? Is there a spot for him on that left?
That's your captain.
I know, but if you think about it, when our previous captain left the team, that's Jelly. Who were we going to put as a captain after that? We had no one. But Umayela was the better option for us. I think that's why he's the captain of the team. But right now, I don't see Umayela having a spot on that team. Because what he's doing terribly. I know, slow. What? I'll say Umayela is doing great. I mean, Uhoto is doing great on that left back. And I don't.
And you still have Shandu to come back, and you still have other players that can fill that spot.
You see, And I also don't see Umako coming in on that left back when Uwoto is playing like that. I think we'll have to make way for Mayela and go get a new left back for us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me bring in to Sean. Sean, is there something that Paris can replicate, or are we just seeing, all right, you know, when the opportunity presents itself, Paris can capitalize, but when it comes to doing it over and over in the league settings, can those teams take advantage of some of the weaknesses and maybe close them down a little bit better than a Hungry Lions, than a Chiefs, unfortunately, than a Crystal League?
I just want to say it first. I think it's because most of us don't follow Amazulu a lot, but Amazulu have been struggling with injuries. I think the last game that they played against, it was a league game, the first league game they played against Pirates, and they drew. They had about 12, 13 injuries at the time. You see, so they've been struggling with injuries a lot. But yeah, I think my issue with a lot of big teams in South Africa is that a lot of them don't want to impose their style of play. Yeah. You know, if Sundowns goes to Orlando, I'm expecting Orlando Pirates to impose their style of play on Sundowns. I'm not expecting Orlando Pirates to change how they play so that they can make Sundowns not play. I don't know if you understand what I mean. You understand? So this approach that some of the coaches have to say, okay, sharp, I'm going to look at the weaknesses that a particular team has, and then I'm going to set up a squad and I'm going to adjust the system to play to the weaknesses of the team. Instead of, we're going to keep the way that we play, but we're going to utilize certain spaces because we see that this is a weakness of a particular team. For example, I don't know what was happening in a derby, but all I know is there was no midfield from Kaizer Chiefs, so it was easier for Orlando Pirates attackers to play football. You understand what I mean? So the issue that I have is, if these teams worked on their system and imposing that system on oppositions, no matter who, I mean, Sundowns is an exception, sharp, I'll understand. But the Sundowns is an exception because Sundowns is Sundowns, you see. But when you go against a Cape Town Spurs, when you go against an Amazulu, for example, when you go against a Super Sport even, you know, a Cape Town City, a Stellenbosch is a bit tricky, but you need to impose your style of play. You know, we need to say, okay, Sharpo, this is the Orlando Pirates that we know. This is how Orlando Pirates plays. You understand? Because this thing of also, because with Orlando Pirates, you never know, man. Mabasa is doing so well. Makgopa might never start. You understand? You saw what happened with Lepasa. You know, Lepasa scores 10 goals and then Lepasa disappears. You know, and he doesn't score only tap-ins or penalties. I mean, there's a goal that is scored from outside the penalty box, from just the turn, you know, it went straight to the corner. So I think it's difficult to know what, which is a good thing. It's difficult to know what the coach of Orlando Pirates is thinking, but the type of tweaks and changes that happens in the team, for me, it makes it very difficult to say, you know, that they're going to repeat. I mean, they can keep the mentality, sure, you know, they have the confidence, they're scoring goals, and they're keeping 0 behind. You know, and it might feel like they're dominating games. So it makes it easier for the coach to say, okay, Sharpo, let's go for this thing. Let's fight for the second spot. Let's get to the final. Let's defend our Nedbank Cup. You know, they can take the mentality forward, but I don't think the system is going to allow them to. You understand? And I think Maela should stay, guys. I think Maela has been played, for me, in my opinion, I don't think Maela has been played the right way. You know, in this country, if you are a fullback, it means you have to run up and down for some reason. I just think they need to change the way that they think about some of these fullbacks. I think if you play, and I've always said this, if you play Maela as a left back, left centre back type of situation, right, you can always add an extra man in the midfield and add an extra man in attack. It makes it easier for you to keep those numbers. But yeah, man, that's just my opinion. I don't think they can repeat it because the coach likes to change his starting 11, but they can continue with the Khoza is fighting. No, they can continue with the mentality, you know. But to tell you the truth, Orlando Pirates are gladiators. I don't remember us playing against Orlando Pirates. I just saw a fight in J. But anyway, yeah, that's my opinion.
Okay. Let me go to Belile. Belile, welcome to the show. How are you?
yazi bekithi ngizithulele namhlanje.
Kumele ukhulume.
Cha ngithi sizimindele indaba zethu. Like we're minding our own business. We've won against the fixture in Nedbank Cup, but uvulela amavukuvuku lana bazothi team yethu idlawa ngethi ngathi i-fixture yenziwa ngeNedbank angazi ibuya kuphi le fixture. Kanti Nedbank i-fixture yakhona ibuya kanti yenziwa kuphi. Abanye sekuceba bazobona bokhoza ukhozi bakwambona estadium ukhozi. Wambona uchairman estadium.
Never. Not in my.
Manje wawusifakela indlavini la sizokhuluma ngeteam yethu ukuthi hey kwathi abantu abadliwa kudala bashaya bawavukuvuku abafana nabo nje kodwa manje sekuney'nkulumeni amaZulu soanamasapota nje immediately hey amaZulu hey madoda.
Hayi but belile. Hayi but ngiyakufaka and futhi ukufaka last ngoba ngisazoyivala le ndaba. Belile na i-team yakho iyawina 4-0. Hungry Lions, abo Crystal Lake 6-1, abo Chiefs and bashayile come from behind. Yazi but imnandi le ndaba. But is this the final for me Pirates? Can they now go forward? Sibonele Pirates up until the end of the season. Or is it just indaba yokuthi amavukuvuku ngibela amavukuvuku?
No, bethi ngibingelele bonke abafowethu la. Bekithi nje ngibasuka nginethi ukuthi ubhutkhuthi umayekile wonke ukukhuluma yonke lento yabo bayikhuluma la. Hey madoda. Swine kahle kangaka bese kuzovela iy'nkulumo ezishekile. But kumele si-impose i-play yethu madlala. As if ngathi bona they keep their own play when they are playing against us because na bezabelwa nje basikhahlela benza yonke lento le. Yithe kumele sishintshe. Anikahleni bo. Coming to the game, akusukuthi amavukuvuku just ukuthi it's sometimes ukhudli wethu as uSean said he doesn't always have like he changes his starting lineup now and then. Sometimes it works for the best, but sometimes it works against us. It depends nakhona nge-team odlala nayo. Mina on my personal opinion, I don't think ukuthi two defensive midfielder playing at home against our mavukuvuku ama-amateur it work playing at home futhi kakhulukazi. I'm not a fan of it because it limits the playing ability ye-Pirate esayazi ngayo with free flowing, especially mayidlala esigodini sikaMamenzela. You know how's the vibe there. So if it doesn't work, it also is tshengisile futhi because ekuphumeni kwakhe uMakhehleni when masekufaka uMbatha now they started uMbatha with an attacking mentality. Izinto zaqala zashintsha. You see more passes, forward passes, like striker moving forward, and it works for the better. So normally I'm not a fan of it, but I'm not against it on certain teams. Lawa vele na eza ngaleyo ngqondo leyo, so nathi we have to respond and deal with them. They cannot dictate to us with how we have to approach them. No, we approach them the way we want to approach them. Angeke sifane nalabo kudictate now uthulile abafowenu bakopapa abakhuluma yonke lento amaZulu nani uyathula and kodwa ngeke ngimangale.
Yazi mina ngihlezi velile angina stress, angina game, angizingeni.
Kahleni bo abantu ekudala nagcina ukudlala 3 weeks ago nozendlala after international friendly.
Yazi kumnandi kanjani velile? Yazi kumnandi kanjani? 3 weeks yonke peace.
So siyekeleni nje noma singathola aboratana ngimaholosiyane abaku-5th division abafonye 2 weeks back phezu kwabo nje because i-fixture. So angazi siphuliselani ngibele sithathe yiphi kanti team.
Hayi nami angithi ngibhekile i-team yami ngathi yawo. Kumele ngigibelela abafana.
Noma kuza bullet mabuza abaku-scheme sabo ubani phezu kwabo. Asifune kwazi ezaba nama-support like coming to check even the last game yamaZulu lawa kaCGM ukuthi how did they perform ku-league and they never performed well against us. If you can look at the first 6 games azange basezela suddenly bazovuka ngathi akukhonakala nabo la bakhuluma kakhulu. Look at our last 3 games. The first game igame yethu ekhaya bawina ngefake penalty yakhoza umshishi. Second games abashaya ku-final sibashaya icup lesi silithathe kubo asithanga omunye umuntu. Third game they come fighting nabasikhahlela so red card but we still equalize and draw with them. Azange silithathe kwabanye abantu silithathe kubo so abaseke next game maZulu aweze nawo phezu kwabo bazosithola. Bangashaka. Nabo bayodlala nabo bayodlala amakhokhwane base next door nabo lapha esikolweni ingane zesikole. And then they must even go to that soccer pitch vele bazolingana by 57 mos. Bazodlala khona ngesa stadium. Bangathi basibange nomsidi bafuna ukudlala kuphi. Asina ground washa kwacima. They will feed all of them there on lapha tax. So please, abasihloniphe man. How?
No, I think Babulele now so they can jump in, Mara, you guys. Okay, guys, so we're going to move on to the next topic, which is the other game, where others can come and defend themselves as well. We're going to speak about Mamelodi Sundowns and the game that they played versus Imarisberg United, a very familiar team to them in the PSL. And maybe, just maybe, a game that might have shown some things, but let me give Sundowns fans a chance to jump in and have a conversation. It doesn't look like we're going to be able to have the draw discussion. I'll make it the topic for, well, half of tomorrow's episode will be about the draw, and then we've got a conversation that we need to continue on. Guys, if you're not followed right now, kupali follow away, man. Click on the follow button on TikTok, click on the subscribe button on YouTube. Okay, let me let in the Sundowns guys. Guys who are requesting, please know that we're talking about Sundowns now. Please. Rebafe chance to normal their team. So I'm gonna let everybody in and we'll go from there. Kuma, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm helping yourself. What are you guys doing?
Hi man, kumonake mnati man. It feels for the past month, man. For the past few weeks, stress more. But anyway, Kuma, tell me, how did you see this game that you guys played?
Yeah, the game, ne? It's so funny. The previous panelists, ne? One said like, "Yo, that guy likes to sound so woke. He likes to sound so woke. Are we struggling to find a team that dominates us? Can the Miran Cape Town Space? Cape Town Space, Ambore Metaga Davolo. Nana fella Otumta Cape Town Space, and you've got the goal to call us off a big team. Eh? Can the No, Mara, we were quiet. I didn't even request when I was speaking about the Hungry Lions what gave me. I was quiet. Now they're telling us about we 57. Ground we half. What they have nothing to say about their team. They must put the ish. And guys, I know you hate Sundowns. Veli, Theo, Abutukuzo. Please stop sending your lightnings when we are playing. Relapi, like, if you wanna fight with us, take us on the field. Stop sending your stuff. We can't be having such things every time when we play.
Hey, so but it's big, but it's big, please.
Okay, sharp. You know, Maritzburg, the game, guys. I don't know. Like, I'm gonna talk about the positive things, We won, and I think Lochi, Aira, of the game scored all the time. He was at go Parrot. I don't know how many goals does he have compared to what he has at Sundowns. But I read that, Peter Shalule's form is worrying, especially he along with Ribeiro are only our recognized strikers, But yeah, man, I'm happy Rivaldo Kuti is back. Mvala seems to be back as well. And the introduction of young boys, proper young boys, and who are quality, are actually starting to slowly to get integrated in our system. I don't know. I wanna engage the distraction from the Soweto guys, that lightning. I thought when we started playing the game, we were lackluster, man. I don't know. Fatigue or whatever, we weren't so sure, Mara. We weren't as fluid as normal we are, And now that I mentioned how Rivaldo is big, I wonder where we're gonna play. Are we gonna continue playing our 3-4-3 or we're gonna revert to 4-4-3? It's gonna be interesting because those two are quality, and Zunk has proven Hore. He also can play the river role, if not better, arguably. So it's a good headache to have. Mara, yeah, back to the lighting situation. After we resumed our game, we could saw Rolani really had a talk with the guys to actually pull up your socks. We were much more fluid. Our passes were much more accurate. We created chances, Mara. I don't know, man. Our strikers, Bapal, I don't know, confidence. I won. Never seen Shalulu. I won. Even though he came second half, Mara, his confidence level, I think. I thought Tori we could have scored more goals. See? It should have been another La Masia situation, if not more.
Okay. I'm gonna come back because I want to ask you a couple of things about that. Agent, welcome to the show, my brother. How are you?
I'm good.
Hey man, it's nice to watch you guys. I don't have anything to watch, but it's nice to watch you guys as a fan of football.
I can even see that you gained weight, you're light skinned, you look fresh, you spend time with family, you're glowing, man. It's good.
Tell me, Agent, what did you think of this game versus Maritzburg?
Because we have, according to my calculation, 50 minutes. I'll take my time. I just rather got 50 minutes. We've got our 50 minutes also. So Kumo could have spoken for as long as he wanted. But anyways, I first want to say sometimes it was one of the saddest things that I saw this weekend was Abuti Kusa trying to bring attention to the fact that Pirates won and everyone was ignoring him. I was like, welcome to the territory. You can't expect to be praised as a preacher for preaching on Sunday instead of going to a just club. Very it's a job to preach on a Sunday as a preacher, you know? And this is this is what we experience daily because we win every time or most of the time. So usually our wins get minimized, you know? If you check over the socials, no one was free about the Pirates win. You know, I was like, that's what it feels like, Pirates fans. You know, your wins being ignored because they're expected. Now imagine all of us, imagine us, we're expected to win every game, you know, but and also I also don't see the logic in them trying to algorithm Abuti, but I don't see the logic in praising someone who finds a hungry lion and says he slayed a hungry lion. Oh man, if a hungry lion. But anyways, let me go to the game. You know, coach, what is his name? The Maritzburg coach. What am I forgetting? Why am I forgetting his name?
I'm also forgetting it. I don't know why I'm blanking as well.
Yeah, but he deserves a lot of credit, I remember he was coaching Richards Bay and he got fired after winning Chiefs. Not that there's something to brag about, but still, he beat Chiefs and he was fired. Yes, Simo Dladla, yes. It was Gavin Hunt 2.0 or Gavin Hunt the student, either way, or Gavin Hunt light or Gavin Hunt the return, you know. And I think actually we saw a bit more of defensive play than we saw with Supersport, you know, because what they did was, I'm having a bit of an echo, but that's fine, I'll continue. What they did was very interesting because usually a team is either a team presses us at the front or in the middle or at half spaces. But what they did was they didn't press us on the front foot even after crossing the center line. Even in the half spaces, they didn't press us. They were solid in the central zone and allow us to play in the channels and the half spaces, which was very interesting because now you have too many players congested in one space, you know. Hence, it was very difficult for Sundowns to penetrate such kind of Berlin wall, if I can put it that way. And they didn't press us that much, So it was a very interesting tactic. if Gavin Hunt gave us or pegged a double decker bus, I think that was a triple decker bus, eh? So it was very interesting to see them, and in particular, I was very impressed by Kanana. I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly. Solid defender. And I hope one of the big teams can pick him up, because he doesn't deserve to play in the NFD. He's comfortable on the ball. He has the strength. He is able to head the ball and everything. So I was very impressed by him. So yeah, a good defensive play. And as with any defensive play, you are hoping that you either go to extra time and go to penalties, or you get set pieces. But they didn't attack much for them to get set pieces, which is the downside to it, because I think they got the first corner, I think 89th minute, 88, somewhere there, So that was difficult. That was difficulty, because now you can score, because you have allowed yourself to be pinned back, So I think offensively it didn't work out as well, but I think defensively it was a masterclass, 101 in defensive or low block. Coming to Sundowns.
Very quickly for time. I carry you guys are busy talking there.
Yeah, but it's gonna take us time to replace Zwane, hey? It's gonna take us a lot of time to replace Zwane, and I think I don't know. He's aging. Hey, I'm worried now about the situation, because this team doesn't look well without Jordaan, And the Peter Shalule situation is now sad. It's no longer worrying. It's sad. I think there was a point where he won a ball and he attacked, and it was 2v1, and he made the wrong decision. I was like, yo, man, bring back Shalule's matchbox. It's not funny at all. But I think, it was one of the worst performances that I've seen of Sundowns. Tactically and everything, we're sluggish, we're slow, everything that I didn't want to see. It was a typical Sunday afternoon. You're supposed to be sitting with your wife, listening to jazz and, chatting about everything and everything. So it's a game to forget, but we win, we move forward. That's the most important part.
Let me go to Sean, tell me, what did you think of this game?
I just want to start by saying, off the ball, Maritzburg really played a good game. They were aggressive in passing. They were, especially that Namibian striker of theirs. He was a problem. He was a problem in pressing us, and I think we were helped by Gogo Maweni sending the lightning from Pirates. It gave us time to go talk about it and see how we can deal with him. But if you look at that squad, Obas still needs rhythm. I think we should not have benched Mabowe in the past 2 games, if I'm not mistaken. I think we also saw Esquivel start the game. We saw who else was new? Oh, Mudiba came back. Not Mudiba, Motaung came back.
Motaung.
So we had a squad that I say the majority of players in that squad needed some rhythm, right? So of course, in the first half it was very difficult. I think we made it difficult for ourselves because we were rushing that ball into channels, that ball behind the defense, and we are doing that against a team that has very tall defenders. And Maritzburg were doing one thing very well, which is what Amazulu was trying to do. Amazulu was trying to, they put 3 at the back, trying to make sure that they close the channels and we can't pass through. But it was very difficult for them because we congest them midfield and then we kind of push them out of their positions to come and press, and then we can play behind. But Maritzburg was so disciplined that we couldn't really move those defenders off position, and when they pressed, they were not ball watching. So one would press and then the other one would cover, and they would really help each other in covering spaces. And we make it difficult for ourselves because we don't know when we should just play a one touch, when we should try and dribble a bit. And this is where we missed Mudiba, we missed Ribeiro, because they knew exactly when to do it. So we kind of missed that. We rushed the ball. We rushed the ball into the channels. We were too late on the pass. There was not much support on the person with the ball. I mean, I saw Zungu at some point shouting at Allende and Esquivel, you know. You are not where you're supposed to be, as well as Mabo. You're not where you're supposed to be. So I think it was good in the sense of we give him more players time to play, but it was bad in that the rhythm is still not there. I mean, at some point, I think I saw Esquivel and Sereno kind of running into each other, you know, because you're trying to play with a whole lot of what do you call this? With pure talent up front, but in a more organized way. So we kind of failed in doing that, but also it was an interesting game because, like I said, it was a challenge. You know, they came to play. And it was good to see a River come back. And I agree with the previous speakers in saying that Zungu will kind of get the. If he plays, you know, enough in this position, he's going to bench River. You know, he's going to bench River. I enjoy what Lodge is doing because Lodge is making those aggressive runs that we need, that we were seeing earlier on in the season from Elisiba Nku. And then when Elisiba got injured, we were playing Mudiba there, you know. And it was good to see. It's good to see players actually take on players. For me, it's good to see a winger take on players, you know, a white player take on players. It's nice football to see. But the issue is we don't have. I just didn't like that long ball. Not necessarily a long ball, but when you're trying to play the ball over the defense, to who are you playing the ball to? Because if you don't measure the pass correctly, he's not gonna. You're not gonna find an Allende. You're not gonna find what's this boy's name?
Esquivel, Martinez, Sereno.
No, the other one. The Mabo. You're not going to find Mabo, Sereno, Esquivel because they're short, you know. So we survive on cutbacks because they're short. I think Shaulile is going to come back, guys. Shaulile is having one of those seasons, you know, that Kaizer Chiefs strikers have. He's going to come back, you know. He's going to. We have his back, so I'm not really worried about him, you know.
Never. Apologies, guys. My TikTok says I am not active. Wow. Okay.
Well, everyone can tell that you're a Kaizer Chiefs support. Anyway,
last point, Mara, you guys. Hey, Mara.
So I think it was an interesting game in that sense, but a lot of improvement needs to happen. I mean, when we make changes, I know it's might be a bit naive, but I'm expecting at least the intensity, you know, to be at almost the same level. But we will see what happens after this break.
Let me bring in Prastomi. Prastomi, welcome to the show. How are you? I'm right, Prastomi. Tell me, we won in Jandeke. Sundowns by respect to
OT, I always believe in football, there's always a room for improvement. When you look at Sundowns, first half, Sundowns, to me, it was not playing an Angela in Kariboni Jalangayo. You could say, Opa, say, as long balls, and you find out as a long balls, Bezingeko impacted in the game to the extent basis born by Yashneta. So a game it was too slow kumkandi jongile kwi first half. Then it happened about immediate game. Then it was the time up Urulani wafumana a chance but to talk to the players about banyuse game, tempo ibe too quick on the game. And I wasn't expecting any easy game when it comes to my respect because Siaya's in my respect. It's a team to play Kawudlala and the Sundowns. Whether badlala kumvela or badlala kwesiphi stage, but when it comes to Sundowns, they become a very good team, and you could tell. But on my opinion and observation is that we came yonke. I didn't see anything that was ibise thusa ngema respect that
playing on the low block, and Kubo, it seems like they were expecting a game to go extra time. Then extra time it goes to penalties. Apho ke bayazi uba they will take chances because penalties nabani can win them. Otherwise, mna ibingekho sense uba iyasethusa that we have to defend so much. Uyajonga ku-first half abolunga bebengayile ndlela beqhela udlala ngayo, but umuntu ebenimbona had a good game, uLebusa no-Lodge. At some stage ke ngoku change the game on second half, but ke ngoku into iba lapha yento ba abantu they always expect i-Sundowns when it's playing against a small team to score very early in the game, of which is that's not the case in football, because ayisoloko isenzeka ngaloo ndlela i-football ibe ngathi yinto oyazi uba iza kwenza kanjani. So i-Maritzburg mna, they showed us a maturity of a team. Ukuba they were playing as a team and defending as a team, even though i-attack yabo it was that much, but siyibone they want to hit Sundowns on certain plays. Otherwise, I saw a game as the band were expecting a game to go further, kwabo extra time, then he'll decide on with penalties. Otherwise, Uzongu had a good game, Lodge had a good game, and surely but slowly, Lodge is picking up for the fact that akwazi score braces on, which is into ayigqibele uyenza ngo-2019. Something positive, because iyasibonakalisa uba le nto ebesiyayifuna uRulani is coming, but ayizukwenzeka ngexesha abantu bayifuna ngalo. And ke ngoku siyayazi this is a building process in order a team to gel ibe ile ndlela uyifuna ngayo, for the fact that esakwazi ngoku unika i-chances ezinye ii-players bezikade zingayifumani i-chances. So i-team ke ngoku ikhulisa kanjalo because a conjunction of games kuyafuneka and rest some players, ii-players ozinika ii-chances, because there's a long way to go. Kusekho i-CAF Champions League and we're still in the Nedbank, sisadlala league. So mna, even though uRulani ndimazi uba akayo fan of rotating a team, but I think this time inguye ne-technical team bayenza kakuhle loo nto. I-team is coming, and as long ngoku singana problems oba siyadliwa uba enika other players a chance bazidlala. Mna loo nto yi-growth leyo, but on other hand ndisatsho there's a room for improvement. We still need to improve into ezininzi, i-team ibe ile ndlela efama idlala ngayo. Otherwise, as much as indlela yethu isende, ithetha ukuthi more work is needed to be done in order a team izikwazi ibe ile team that is good performing. But ke ngoku ufumaniseka uba when it comes to abantu and giving an opinion about Sundowns, it's like abantu they always expecting Sundowns if idlala a certain team to score very early, of which is we cannot run away from the fact that in football it's not always the case. So many teams can struggle to score goals early, but eventually goals zivele. So more creation siyibonile kwi-second half, it is where siyibona ke ngoku i-team iyakhula. Otherwise there's nothing wrong with the team and bendiyibona ibidlala ne-Sundowns than into yoba badlala on the low block. And ke ngoku mna I still say i-Sundowns mayiqhubekeke ukwenza njena until uRulani ayifumane the routine afuna uyisebenzisa i-team zidlale ngayo. Otherwise andiboni any problem.
I wanna go to Kumo. Kumo, you know, a lot has been made about rotation, and we spoke about Sundowns rotating a lot. Are we maybe seeing the negative side of rotation, that maybe it takes some players a little bit longer to get warm, and to get warm, to get used to the system and things like that, especially now that we're seeing that Urulani is persisting with this specific tactic that he's trying to get through with Esquivel, Sereno, and Lodge. Is it a worry going forward, or do you think that everybody's going to catch steam as they go along?
Ish, my brah. You know, Sundowns situation, it's a blessing and also a curse. Remember, we play a lot of games across Africa, emphasis on Africa, and we've got a lot of quality players who could walk in any team in Africa, a first 11 with no problems. Now, the problem with that is that now you have to balance. You want to balance team fluidity? Do you want to balance a team that you have to put on like a strongest 11, but then there's fatigue that you have to deal with, you know? It's a lot of, like we've got superstars and the type of, is it me?
No, it's Kaizer. You can go on.
Yeah, now with the types of players that we have, like these are superstars, and obviously once you play for a team like Sundowns, you want to play, even though the competition is tough. So it's a tough ask for RULANI. It's a tough task for RULANI to do. Luckily, I'm not a coach. I'm just a guy who loves Sundowns and will defend Sundowns and will kill for Sundowns. But my guy, it's difficult for any team, for any coach to actually do it, man, because it's tough. But yeah, with rotation, that's the good thing about it is that everyone gets to play, right? But the bad thing about it is that not everyone is familiar, not everyone has the same match fitness, not everyone can read each other. People tell if you bathong velile. That's why I get kind of like tongue twister kind of molo but it's fine.
But then Kumo, before you move on, I just want to ask you, do you think that the way he's rotating might be an issue? That maybe with a squad of your size and quality, wouldn't it be a better setup to have two separate teams where Zungu can be Zungu within his own team, quote unquote, and Kutsia can be Kutsia in his own team? Because I feel as though what is hurting Sundowns right now is that some players, you are mixing warm and hot players, and in some cases it's helping, in some cases it's pulling back some aspects of the game, and then you're doing that even when you rotate otherwise. Wouldn't it be easier to just say, instead of going Zungu, you are the Rivaldo Kutsia, it's no, you are the Zungu of team 1 or team A or team A1, and then Rivaldo, you are the Rivaldo of team A2.
But do you know how sensitive players are? And also, who's going to be on team 1, who's going to be on team 2? Who's going to
That's
play
like A1 and A2. A1, A2,
exactly. Who wants to be A1?
One team is the league.
Yeah, because we all know or if you on team 1 with Zungu, with Zwane, ne? We know what that's the E team, right? And also, let's say our so-called C team, I get we've got Rivaldo, we've got Zungu. What about a team that has Obas, for example, even though a different player? Obas, for example. So does that mean and the Okosi team, like which means like get the rejects? And also, what if they have a phenomenal game in the
they're having a phenomenal game in top
when they
flight
have a phenomenal
games.
game, do we not reward them for the next game you have, or do we say no because you played? Let's give team A again. It's tricky, my bro, and that thing will never work because of egos and half. I don't believe it can never work, honestly.
Let me go to Agent. Agent, I've got the same question for you. Is this the casualties of rotation? That when you start rotating, man, sometimes the chameleon might not make sense to some players. They might not gel. They have to get together, one. And then number two, would it just be better to go, guys, you're all stars, man. There's team 1 and team 2. It's not that one is better than the other, but just for the sake of harmony, we keep players together, type of thing.
If I answer your question quickly, I'm sorry to deviate, but I want to mention the young boy who made his debut, Letlaku, I believe. Is it Letlaku? I think, yeah, Letlaku. Yeah, good player. So 2 minutes of him, but he'll come good. He'll come good. Your question, Brother Steve would say is straight to the blanket, eh? Is that Brother Steve or Pitso Mosimane? I think Pitso. You say straight to the blanket. You cover the head, the legs are exposed. You cover the legs, the head is exposed. It's one of those, because you are saying rotation, like you're saying, you lack rhythm because you need to play more games to build rhythm.
Yeah.
But again, not rotating, we saw its effects last season. We were knackered, and I think even towards, remember at the beginning of the season, the tune was, I don't believe in rotation. But towards December, we could say this team is is finished, is tired, it has given its all. And then we started seeing rotation. So it is something that has to happen. But then the manner in which it has to happen becomes a problem, Because like I say, if you have team B, team A, you don't have to tell them that there's team A, team B, you can just do it submarine, but still they'll figure that out. It's difficult also to do that because remember it's trial and error, right? I think I can't remember what that game was. I think Sundowns fans will remind me, I think it was, but there was nice interchange between Uloj, Uzwani, and I think it was Esquivel also there. Like, it was interesting, I think that's where coach got the idea that maybe I can play my creative midfielders and attackers in one position, like in one team, I think that creates a variation. Remember, you have to play towards the team that you're playing against, What you've seen is you can't, there are games which need a strike kind of a focal point, if I can put it that way, but there are games where you need quick interchanging of players, so such kind of games, you have to understand that, okay, I have to bring a Shalule kind of striker, but there are games where against the low block, you need a creative player so that they can penetrate through the low block, I think that's where coach got the idea of playing creative midfielders there. Is it working? I don't think so. I think it's something that needs to be coached. Remember, it's a thing that they've tried in season, and I think that's something that you don't give enough credit to Lani to have the soccer balls to try that kind of thing, mid-season without training it consistently. So it was bound to have a bit of glitches here and there, but I can see the idea, and when I can see the idea, is a good thing, So it'll come right.
Do you know what my concern is? My concern is that you guys might face a Pirates type situation, right? Where Pirates, for all intents and purposes, at the beginning of the season had a team that was winning, that was doing very well, and in their case, rotation was forced by injuries. But then what started happening is that you started seeing, all right, man, Loch is being put into the team. It doesn't gel with Masangwani. This one doesn't gel with that one. They're now moving each other around. They're losing form. Well, my suggestion is that the nice thing about Sundowns is it's all top class games. Whether you are in team 1 or team 2, it's not like it's team 2 and you're playing reserve league. It's team 2, but you're playing league games. In some cases, you might play Champions League games. In some games, you might play the cup games. But you've got a team that got you to this unbeaten status up to this point that looked a certain way. And maybe instead of trying to force feed certain players in from the beginning, you keep that core team on one side, and then you say, Zungu, you can lead your team, for example, as an example. And then you can change in small bits, but you're not doing things like, Lunga's the new player on top of Esquivelu's the new player on top of Lodge's the new player at Sundowns. Then you've got, that chemistry, man. Is it something you want to lose at this point? Because when you get into the tough games, your Champions League games where you need to go win, it's crunch time. Rivaldo's not playing, has not been playing for a while because Zungu's been playing. Zungu's now tired, and you have to bring in Kutsia, but then Kutsia's never played with Lunga.
The thing is, I think, like I said, again, shooting the blanket. What you do is the same, but I know what Umdao can give me. I know what Zani can give me. I know what Kutsia can give me. I know what MOKWENA can give me. I know what these players can do, and they've played together for some time, so they understand each other, right? And then you have another team which is relatively new players. It's like, guys, can I try and get chemistry from you guys? Because another scenario is like, I mix and change, but that's gonna lead to trial and error because then you're at least with Sundowns, you're sure that okay, with this team I'm not I'm sure of. With this team, I'm not sure. I'm trying something, you know. But when you mix together everything, you're like, yeah, you have two teams which are equally unreliable, you know. But when you have one team, you should know, okay, this is my go-to team, and this team is something that it's a new project that I'm trying to build. I feel like that's the safest route, in my opinion, you know. And also, it will lead to a lot of trial and errors because then if you find that Ukwete doesn't play with Lunga, the next game you have to put maybe an Obas there, you know? And how many times can you do that? You know? So I think given the stage that we are in it, like I said, some of these things work better in a pre-season. If it was a pre-season, I'll say, okay, fine. Find the best combination because Olosh, when playing with Zwane, he plays better, you know? But now it's a case of we have a cohesive unit, as someone is saying, you know, that in team A, if you can put it that way, they know each other. With team B, the more games they play, the more they'll understand each other. I think for me, is the right way to approach it, you know. And lastly, on that point, I wanted to say, you know, Kutsie came in on the 87th minute, you know, played a few minutes, and you see why we labeled it the Kutsie role, you know, like, man, guys, Kutsie is something else.
Okay. Prastomi, welcome to the show. How are you? Utakri, welcome. You are here. Prastomi, rotation, is this now an issue? Sundowns, Guti, maybe there's too much rotation happening, and now you're seeing good time and corner team at the beginning of the season, corner guys who haven't been playing or people who are new. And now, Uba Mixa, Ngati, we're having a bit of an issue there.
Yes, OT. Ujongayo in the beginning of season. Actually, kwela xesha lala 11 games Sundowns ibiwina. And compared to ngoku, njengoba siku-second leg, ucomparishe uba igame ye-Sundowns itshintshe kanjani. Personally, mna ndiyibona itshintshile. I think mna i-level has dropped ngoku compared to elaa xesha langoku, yeah. And enye zezinto endibangela nditsho i-level of game has changed because ngoku there's too much involvement of i-rotation in the team, of which is RULANI ebengayithandi into, he was not a big fan of it. But ke ngoku ngenxa ye-issues around the team, because kukhona i-traveling as games the CAF Champions League, kukho more games and conjunctions of games. Now, ngoku ifika to extend noba bathethisane nomanqobe into yoba siyijonga kanjani into yoba sine-games ezingaka, and yet we are not doing i-rotation of a team. Even though i-rotation of a team, it always be a problem nakweyiphi team around the world. That is why so many coaches are too skeptical ngento ye-rotation on the team, because at some stage it kills the momentum of a team indlela ibidlala ngayo. It kills the whole team indlela efuneka ibuild ngayo. Now when you come to in-day rotations, it says you need to change your assignment indlela obucinga ngayo le bukabiyisebenzisa. Uyazi uba ngoku igame itshentshile ngoku because there's a rotation in the team, and ke ngoku with the rotation ufuneka uyazi uba so many mistakes are bound to happen. I-team akuzoba so easy to play against so many teams and iqhubeke ngale ndlela obudlala ngayo. So le rotation umo wayo yona iza nee-problems zoba zento ezithi at some stage izawuku-affecta in games, ubonakala uba une-problem, then abantu ke ngoku they label uba i-team is failing. But if you were continuing playing with the same system ukade uyisebenza the same players, i-problem izawaphi? More fatigue, more injuries zizawuba khona kwi-team. So mna i-rotation I'm too skeptical ngayo, even though I had to understand into yoba ngoku kukhona ii-games ezininzi ezenzekayo, and we cannot allow more risk in the team siyibulale ngento rotation, because we want a certain narrative ngathi uba we are rotating the team and the team is playing and iyawina, but asicingi uba idlala kanjani and i-affecta kanjani the way i-team ekusuppose idlala ngayo. So mna ndilapho when it comes to rotation, at some stage siyayinida because we cannot afford to have so many injuries, more fatigue in the team. At least makube khona someone to relieve ezinye players. At least i-team ikwazi udlala. Then when it comes to a big game that needs players zibe khona zonke, so siyazi uba we have more quality ezawukwazi to compete with such games ezinkulu. So ilapho mna into rotation. Otherwise ngoku ndisazibona ii-problems ngayo because ndiyabona uba kusafuneka silungise certain things, even though I am happy that we are still winning and noko irekhodi laka-unbeaten lisahleli, nantsi into which is important. Otherwise later stage funeka uRulani noManqoba come up with more solutions. I-team ithi ikwazi udlala kule rotation ibe into esizawubhiliva ngayo kuba it is working. Otherwise ngoku I think bonke they are still skeptical about le rotation because abade bayibona i-team idlala ngale ndlela abafuna udlala ngayo, hence ilelapho le nto rotation.
Okay. Yeah, guys, and again, I just want to say that look, Sundowns is still unbeaten. So Sundowns are still winning the game, so the quality is pulling them through. This is just a question about things like our rotation that are very big, good questions to ask within a season, especially when you have a Sundowns team. Xolani, Sundowns' rotation, are we seeing that this is the curse of your rotation, that the more you rotate, the more you start seeing good diamond? Some people are not fitting, maybe you lose some of the momentum that you had. Is it sustainable for his Sundowns? Should they change the way they rotate?
Yeah, good evening, Babu Mkwana. Nama out lapha kwi-panel nakuma comment section. Yeah, Mr. Uti, I'll say Sundowns is doing a rotation because I think we sizamile ukuthi si create le chance ukwazi ukuthi senze a rotation because uwina kwethu ama games amaningi gave us a chance to also play our French players because for me I think we do have our our main goal is Africa, Mr. Oti. So we are using e-league to like play our French players and get them to a level yama players we CAF. Because for me I think we do have first 15 CAF. So it's a matter of putting ilokuzana fitness labantu abangadlali and then babe ku same level singabi nenkinga mase siyodlala iCAF. Yabo Mr. Uti. So and if there was a time to play our French players and try my rotation is this season, Mr. Uti, because we are far ahead go number 2 and like we I think we're under pressure, Mr. Uti. So we can afford to play our French players. Just that in momentum it will work kancane. So kubona lokho futhi Mr. Uti. Although Coach Ram is not a fan, but to also include the fatigue of my players because we had like my players, there were like 8 players BAFANA. So Melon was banning it to about to recover because we need them fresh masasiya with CAF.
Okay. Mtagababa Velile, is this not Maniki Ikesha rotation? And in my mind, the problems that problems, quote unquote, that Sundowns are having in terms of rotation and keeping cohesion a team in, it feels for me like they're having problems that squads that are not the size the Sundowns. When Sundowns is squad that big, they should not be having these problems in terms of Guti. You can sit them all down and play a completely different team. Nagu PSL. Manje, mix, it's starting to confuse them, or am I wrong?
Bengathanda ukuphendula mina Mtakababa manje Ngoba ngicela ukungena la abantu bangithethisa bathi nginga-analyze team yabo maye mina ngingena njengesupporter leMaritzburg esingaphathekanga kahle la masicela ukungena ngathi siyavinjwa kodwa makukhulunywa ngenye team ekuqaleni bangene bonke omavuvu bakhuluma into zabo so manje angazi kuzokuphendula kanjani nje ngcono nje ngiphume ke lapho ngizibonele eMaritzburg yami ngiqale ngesimo sezulu esenzekile laphayana ukuthi cha izulu leliyana bengasi ukuthi mhlambe into embi ezilaphayana bekunowa eze nomkhumbi wakhe azofuna uMoses lo wakhohlisa izwe lonke iGibhitha le wathi uMoses kanti awuthi uJudas yambona bathi ngiphendule manje kodwa bathe ngingakhulumi ngeteam yabo mina ngisazi manje
Hayi phendula umbuzo wami yekela lezi zinye nginikeza umbuzo phendula wami
mina ngicela ukungena ngathi uzozikhuluma ngethi bathi ungalinga uthini team yethu ube team yethu analyze manje sebathe ngiphendule
phendula rotation phendula
no mdaba i-rotation like in any other team it's good mangabe angeke i-disturb like i-rhythm ye-team so but on this issue because we know Sundowns has got a big squad of which at the same time but they will suffer the same consequences of having like the star-studded players sometimes amanye who feel as if ngati they can be a starting lineup player in any other team. They are so good. And sometimes we wish to see abo River badlala njalo or abo Zungu mama ngekho abo MOKWENA or even like the first time team players badlala ku CAF. So but unfortunately ukuthi banengi kakhulu. But it's good, you know, rotation is good. And inceda you are still winning. Because that sometimes you can do that and authority rhythm at that particular day, the team that you've selected, it doesn't gel enough in a way you're going to win the game. But with them there you can see but the team is not the team that usually plays like as the first team, as we will normally say that. And said okay, first team is second team. Uyabona ukuthi umuntu wazi ngeMaritzburg kodwa uthe bathe bayiphendula. Yabona indawo labantu banodlame yazi labantu banodlame basepitoli banodlame yazi.
Hi.
So mina angimblame RULANI even on this one it allows him because sebawina amagame amaningi bawu number 1 ku league probably leader at 12 points so they've got a space to play around and give other players an opportunity especially for namagame anjengawo lawo Nedbank if they are playing abo amavuguvugu nje amafundana ama-team ama-amateur they can still do that because of the quality that they possess in their team but in terms of ukuthi they will gel together at sometimes inokuyi-destabilize i-rhythm ye-team yonke because yes the certain player can perform on this team abamdlalisile but you will find that ukuthi he's not performing the same way makadlala nababanye because he akabajwayeli yabona abo if you got your first team players like abo Allende abo Matias with Sirinho up front there those that normally come and play abo Mshishi so thotha akajeli nabo but mangajeli nabo kanjalo imbuyisele emuva futhi but yona it's a good thing mina angeke ngimgxeke uRULANI kuloko because of which is also forced because
okay, go on.
Yeah. No, as I was saying, remember, good boy, they are playing on CAF competition, so they have to make sure good CAF, their A players are there and they're injury free. So it gives them that leeway to test other players. They've got nothing to lose.
But then don't we have a bit of a problem then that maybe, for example, we haven't seen Vala in a while, right? What is the guarantee, Guti? By the time I call out Vala, he's going to be ready. Sengimwomile like ithi ulunga sengiba womile labo kudala badlala bona. Now it comes time for Champions League. It's a crunch game. I think that I have to go back to my first team. What are the chances that Kutsie, that Mvala, that Mudiba, that MOKWENA, that Shalulile Ribeiro's injured. Shalulile, all of those guys, Guti, bazotika mangbabiza. Because for me, I would have more expected a rotation of Yazin Chance, Salan Pants Nonke. Iti man resta ni resta nonke. Man dala ni dala nonke. Lababanye nabo, they will gel and come together because they will have that cohesion of knowing Guti every day. Ulunga udlala nozungu. Every day, we know this. Esquivel will get used to Banban. But now I'm seeing a guy like Allende playing all these games, and then When it comes time, Guting Imbizu Alende for a crunch game, he's got 4 games under his belt in a team that maybe he wasn't, maybe he's got cohesive now, Guleo team, but then Aspatembi Lababani. Isn't that a bit of a...
Yeah, but each and every game requires its own planning. And it's got different dimension according to the type of a team that you're going to play against. So he's not forced always to do that. Even now, let's say a case Gamval, Umvala, Uzoitola, it's Sundowns still got lots of game to play. Currently, they're behind about 3 games. League. If they are still involved, Google Nedbank it still give them that opportunity again to have more games to play. So, no man I talk Google Champions League. I think Umvala will still have a chance at least to goodbye at only 1 game or 2 games. Gulama game sell or 1 because those on knowing I'm preparing Umvala maybe to play against the way that. Or against the Ahly CAF competition, you'll still get opportunities because they still got a lot of game. So those players they will still get game time. Because the schedule was sit tight cool with the games that have been postponed. So it gives him that leeway to have that type of squad and also to test each and every player that's available. If you divine perform on his left back position and you are going to come again. And we are going to come again, a team that is technically astute, especially if they're going to attack you on the right-hand side, like the way that winger that they've played last year, who was coming at Gugu Mudiba or Gugu AB on that left-hand side. So you know, okay, Divine, he's strong when it comes to defending. So and he's been getting game time. So you'll go for him because at that particular time, that particular game is require a good athlete. If Umudiba and you know Divine is stronger than Umudiba. So that's why it will depend on each and every game. RULANI who play and what does the game require for each and every individual players.
Okay, no. Tsepang, welcome to the show. How are you?
Triple K, who's it?
I know Geshapu man, Geshapu Triple K. Tell me, what do you think about this rotation conversation that we're having?
You know, rotation, I can't problem, Leon, to be quite honest. I feel like Sundowns, this rotation has always been part of their plan. I'll tell you why I say that. They've always done well the first half of the league. You know, they get that out of the way, and then let's use these guys that we have brought in. After that, those points still don't already create to stretch our league. Right now, I feel like this is the real RULANI that we are seeing now. This is the real planning RULANI. This is the coach that's got a plan. Rotation guaranteed is going to affect the team. Whether in a bad way, in a positive way, it's going to affect the team somehow. However, one thing I've noticed about Sundowns players is their endurance. These guys can push like 10, 15 games non-stop. Performance high, these guys. So it just shows player management, it's spot on. You can see the brains they report there, they're quite on point. But another thing for me is that guys like we are losing good players like Bo Rivaldo. You know, that guy, I would love him to see him play. Unfortunately, position high, a guy that is playing there is performing very well, you know. So it's a question of how do we get the best out of these guys? It's rotate. Unfortunately, and obviously the planning is not the same. The Sundowns that plays the Nedbank Cup is not the same Sundowns that plays the league. The same Sundowns that plays the Champions League is not the same Sundowns that plays in the league. So here and there, for me, it's just a question of planning. This is the real RULANI that we're seeing. This is the coach, for me personally, that says to me, I've got a plan, regular player. This is what I want to develop in my team. However, the only criticism I have with guys like RULANI and the Pep Guardiolas is that they try to overcook. They always want to overcook. Even they can bring in rotation. Trust to me, that rotation, if it works, so in terms of that, some people would say, no, it's not a bad thing. It's being innovative, which is okay, because you can see other teams like Real Madrid, at some point they were suffering from a situation of playing the same team throughout these past years. And now at some point when these players are no longer performing, the likes of Man City who have been innovative, they catch up to them, you know?
Yeah.
So in terms of rotation, I wouldn't say it's a bad thing. I just feel at some point we are going to see the current plan that RULANI has in the future.
I think for me, guys, I love Sundowns because Sundowns is in a very unique situation. I don't think there's that many teams in the world that have this many games. So in terms of dividing the team, it would be divisive if I'm only playing League and Carling Cup. Like if Chiefs had 2 teams, then it's truly a B team. Then, you know, it's a throwaway team. You guys are never going to play. But in Sundowns' situation where you're playing every 3 games, the so-called B team is not playing throwaway games. They're playing PSL games, top level. They might be thrown into Champions League games. They're playing maybe AFL games. They're playing cup games, you know. I think Sundowns' situation is so nice that you can wholesale rotate a team. My only issue is that in the rotation that we're seeing now, Zungu's been playing a lot of games, for example, right now, right? He's been playing a lot of games in a row. When fatigue hits Zungu, you're going to ask somebody who hasn't been playing all those games in a row to come in. You get what I mean? And
that's another good point. Because now the thing is, there was a situation where MOKWENA was playing in and out all the league, all the games. Now we are bringing Zungu. Okay, Zungu people will say experience and all that. Now the question is, how do we balance the rotation between Rivaldo, Zungu, and MOKWENA? Understand? So I think this is the brains that comes in for me personally. I think the brains like RULANI and this technical team, those are the guys. Because one thing you must know about Sundowns has money, but they spend it well. They know how to pick the right players. They know how to pick the right brains. They know how to pick the right trainers. So for me, it's just a question now, how do these brains that were employed, how are they going to use these guys? But now my fear is that if Zungu comes in and performs, then what are we saying about MOKWENA, who's also been performing? You know what I mean? Now we are still saying, that man who perform. Oh, we still have Rivaldo who hasn't played. You know what I mean? So it will feel at some point that Sundowns is overbuying. Somewhere, I feel like they're overbuying. In certain areas, I feel like they do overbuy. But now the question is, if they are winning and they're getting it right, who's who to critique their work? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just feel like rotation is fine as long as it's done in a positive way and it benefits the players and it doesn't affect much of the core of the team. However, in the future, if it benefits them, we can critique that and we can critique them now if it's not working now. But in the future, if it worked, then we have that moment. Or, hey, this guy. So the question now again comes, how long is RULANI gonna stay there? You know what I mean? So it's a lot of things.
Okay. No, it's an interesting conversation. Let me bring Kaizer. Kaizer, welcome to the show. How are you?
I am good, Mr. Oti. How are you?
Hi, man. Mina ngimnandi, Kaizer. Tell me, what are your thoughts about this rotation conversation?
Yeah, Mr. Oti, I'm in between with the rotation because it seems like Sundowns can afford to do it. I mean, they are leading 13 points already in the league, so for a team enjenge Sundowns bengakwazi ukuthi bayenze rotation. They have breathing space yokuyenza, but any other team, then that's a different story. But any top coach in the world, they don't believe in rotation. So I don't blame RULANI when he says he doesn't believe with rotation because you lose cohesion, you lose abadlali abathize in terms of ukujwayelana ukudlala ndawonye, because as much as we train together, but when it comes to game time nokudlala for isikhathi eside for many seasons, abadlali be-Sundowns that have played abafana nabo Zwane nabo MOKWENA sebeyazana bajwayelene. Akufani nalabadlali abafikayo olotshi basazama ukufunda indlela yokudlala kwi-Sundowns. Abo Esquivel bonke labadlali abasha be-Sundowns. So into engingayisho ngasho ukuthi for i-Sundowns they can afford to do it and it's very beneficial for them ngoba they have so many games. But there was a point you raised, Mr. Uti, when you said when you rotate, then rotate all of them. Don't leave some of the players Uti you are gonna rotate, but you're gonna leave Allende to play every game. And you're gonna expect to Allende to go to a TP Mazembe game next time when they play, and you want him to play that game as well. When you could have rested him against Maritzburg and played someone else. Abomkhulise bakhona ebhenjini bakhona baningi abadlali let Sundowns can. I feel like i-rotation ya RULANI, yes uyayenza, but I don't understand it sometimes because kunabadlali abaningi abangakalitholi ithuba angasingakababoni. Maybe ama-injury, I'm not sure, but if you look at even i-defense yakhona, I don't know ukuthi bayolithwani nithubo or Roshin Turik abazolithwani nithubo Onyango. All those players there are not playing regularly, but we also speaking about rotation. I don't know what rotation yabo. In his mind, what is he trying to achieve? Is he trying to get players ready for compete with the first team, or is he trying to rest players, or is he trying to get the best out of all the players are now? So I'm not sure. Maybe some of the guys in the panel can tell me what is he trying to achieve with his rotation, because we show lawyer that he doesn't believe in a rotation, which means for me that's why I feel like he compromises himself by ukufaka abadlali abafana no Allende when they play in week in week out. Then what's the plan? Yeah, but that shows ukuthi coach ongakholela ku rotation, and I don't blame him because even the coaches that he looks up to, Umchita, they don't believe in rotation. You'll see Manchester City don't rotate for anything. They'll play those young players when they play FA Cup or whatever against smaller teams, but when they play any game, they'll play all the big guns unless there's an injury or something. They don't just rotate for the sake of it. So yeah, that's where I stand when I see.
Let me go to Lebza, who's gifted me a lot. Lebza, how are you doing?
I'm all good, man. I'm all good. I just want to address the one point, the one point that was just raised now of Allende playing all the matches. I mean, when you overhaul an engine, you don't take out that whole component and replace all of it. You replace the insides of it, but it still remains there intact, and the car is functional. Allende is exactly that to Sundowns. He's the engine there. He's controlling the midfield there. He's controlling the game. He's fit. He hasn't given us any indications that he's gonna have any issues. Maybe once we get to that point, once we get to that bridge, we'll cross it. We'll see how we cross it. Rotation at Sundowns at this stage is quite vital because we are competing on all fronts. And the most important thing right now is to substitute important players, the positions that you know that usually give you problems. You substitute in those positions and give the fringe players match fitness so that when we need them, they are there and we are able to use them without fearing that they don't have match fitness, they're not ready, and all of that. So I'm enjoying what is happening lately. I mean, it might slow us down now, but the benefits going forward are gonna be very, very apparent to everyone to see. So it might look like it's slowing us down from scoring a lot of goals and having the kind of consistency we've become accustomed to at Sundowns, but it's gonna be beneficial in the end because we are competing for CAF. AFL is coming back. We are getting ready for Club World Cup as well. I mean, like it's at this point, it should be clear to anyone that we are competing alone on that front after Al Ahly and Wydad. We are pretty much just there, a few games away from securing our spot. So we need all the players to have match fitness, but we can't replace the whole team. We still need that consistency. We still need that core to still bring the Sundowns identity to the whole play. I don't want to take a lot of time. If I'm speaking for too long, just interrupt me.
No, I just wanted to ask. But then I think my only issue with the rotation, and again, guys, take it with a pinch of salt. Sundowns is winning. My only issue with the rotation is you're going to look up and Islanders played 15 games in a row. And now we are stuck with the fatigue issue that you had at the end of the first half of the season before AFCON, right? And my problem becomes, are we really keeping people match fit if our rotations take so long to rotate out? So if I am going to be seated for 6 games, can I say that I am match fit when I come back? And can you trust me when I come back? Because for me, it doesn't seem as though RULANI is rotating. For me, it feels like RULANI has found, is trying to find another first team. So Lunga's playing a lot of games. There's a lot of players that are playing a lot of games where now the question becomes, those who are not playing in the interim, will they need to be rewarmed when it comes time to call on them? And is it a fatigue game where RULANI is just playing players until they get fatigued? Okay, Lunga is now my starter until a point where he gets tired, or until a point where, you know, there's a need for the change. And then I put in somebody else who then has to start again. And then when push comes to shove, Islander's got so many games under his feet. Yes, he's the core, but now I might have to replace that core because, you know, that part of the car has been running for so long. You know, could that be an issue going forward?
The issue is when yeah, it's a bit of a tricky situation because when these players that are now being rotated in are doing well, what's the need to bring back the other guys at those crucial games? I mean, we need them to be there to kind of replace. I think when they are fully, like the ones that have been on the injury list, when they come back and they are fully fit, they will also have the opportunity to be introduced into the games at later stages when we've secured the games, so that they gel back and they start getting the match fitness again. I mean, we have the luxury of not having to rush players to be back at 100%. We need them at 100%, but they're not forced to be back at 100% immediately. They can be introduced into the games steadily again, but because players like Mvala have been injured, and to expect Mvala to come back and get back in the starting lineup is not right. So he needs to be introduced in the game when we've secured the game with the current players. When we are leading like 3-0, 2-0, something like that, then he gets introduced. He plays that 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and he regains his form, and we get back to trusting him again. Then you still having the rotation, but now you have two players that are gaining match fitness. And that's pretty much how I look at it, and that's what we want, so that we can be able to perform in all these games that we have. I mean, we are progressing in Nedbank, which I'm not really that much keen on the Nedbank Cup, but it looks like we might do well this season. And if we do manage to progress further than this, it's gonna pile up a lot of games on the team, and we're gonna need a whole lot of players really fresh, especially for CAF that has eluded us for so long.
Well, guys, for time, I'm looking at the time a bit over. Look, all I'm saying, my big point for me when I look at rotation, I think for me, there's a couple of ways you do rotation. There's the way where you go, okay, fine, I've got my core team. This is my first 15. These guys have earned it for whatever reason. These guys have earned it. What I do is then last 20 minutes, you bring in some of the other guys, let them gel in, get some games under their feet, let them play some minutes, do all of that stuff while you are doing that, right? That's one way. For a team of Sundowns' size, I think the fear, and maybe I'm completely off with this, but the fear is exactly what is happening now, that you started off the season very well, didn't rotate, got fatigued towards the end of the season, and obviously AFCON happened, so that's another thing. But then you now necessitated having to make so many different changes. Esquivel comes in, Lodge comes in, Cirino was on the bench at some point, Zungu has to come in, you have Lunga who's jumped in and played very well, you have the other guy on the other side, I'm forgetting his name. You have all of these players that have been jumped into the team that are now playing so many games to try get cohesion. So he's been playing a lot of these players a lot to try find that cohesion. My question then becomes, once you've found that cohesion and these guys have a lot of games under their feet, right? In their legs, do you not face the same situation where now you have to try reintegrate the rest of the guys back into the team again? Or now Ulunga's tired, I have to bring somebody in, and maybe they are starting now from scratch and they find the thing and then it becomes a thing. Instead of maybe rotating a little bit more flexibly, a little bit more whole teamy, where I know that I've got 6 games, 8 games that I play in 2 months. Sundowns basically plays every 3 days. So what if you could do a 2-game rotation or a situational rotation where I have a team that plays PSL games, I have a team that plays other games, whether it be Cup, you might even throw them in Champions League, you might even throw them in other places where you rotate in that type of matter, where I've got 2 teams that are not only cohesive within the 2 teams, but also they're all fit. They're all fit. They're all playing 2 games every 2 weeks. I know that this team has 2 games, that team has 2 games. Should I need to intermingle them? They're all ready and fit. But I also have the great thing of having 2. For example, I'll use Pirates. I use Pirates as the example. It's just that they didn't have enough players, but enough games. What I saw from a Pirates team was that there's a young Pirates team, which is Tito, Mfukeng, Ndondlo at a point, Tokis BC, those guys. Then you had another team that you could have created where it's both team Bo Saleng, because Saleng wasn't playing at the time, both team Bo Saleng, Bo Lodge, Bo Nda, those guys who can form a completely different team that can get its own cohesiveness, and this team was already cohesive. So Sundowns had a cohesive team. Now the rotating is so long that that's gone. That's why they got knocked out. Well, they didn't play that team, Xolani. But anyway, in this type of climate that Sundowns has with so many games, now you could literally have a one team and a two team. Not to say one is better than the other, but Zungu will know that I play with Sereno. We understand each other when we play. I don't have to adapt to Lodge from the other team coming into here, and then we try to figure out what we're trying to do. And then the next game, he might not be there, somebody else might be there, and we're trying to figure out. You even see the 3-4-3 that RULANI is playing is a completely different system than the system that he normally plays on the other side, you know? So those are the type of things where I'm like, can you find cohesion in that, you know? Kailichi says Pirates is a good example of why rotation is not always a good idea. I think Pirates did a wrong rotation. You have Ndondlo and Munare already playing well together. Why put Ndondlo with Tim, who plays differently to Munare, who asked Ndondlo and then Uraireng, Tito to play a different way. Then he brings in Nda, who holds the ball. So now Ndondlo doesn't know what to do because he's no longer the primary ball player. Whereas you could have a completely separate team of Ndas and Tims that play well together. You know, they tried to reintegrate Lodge Pirates before he left. You could see that, hey, Lodge came into the team. Tito was nowhere to be found. He was now playing a 6. Mfukeng was on the bench because you bench Mfukeng for Tito. That's just logic.
One question,
and then,
I'm sorry. One question.
And so let me just finish. I'll let you in. Where now you saw the disjointed Pirates, that they're trying to go back to that thing that they knew. If Pirates had more games, I would 100% say let Mfukeng and Tito and those guys play together, and then have the other guys play other games. And the nice thing about Sundowns right now, every game is a quality game. So I can't even complain that I'm playing a B-side. I'm playing a PSL game, and I'm finding my cohesion with my team. There's another team that has a cohesion. I think it's a win-win situation in Sundowns' situation. Xolani?
I'm sorry to interrupt you, Makai. So, let's take Ulodge.
Yes.
Pitch Sundowns was like, you're going to play a CAF Champions League. And
Yes.
then he found himself esedlala kwi-PSL. So ithini ke ego yakhe lapho.
I don't even think
now I'm in this team edlala la. Because I think every player eya kwi-Sundowns iyayithola leyo pitch leyo ukuthi okay, you've got an opportunity to play international games.
Yeah.
So
I think
ithini ke kuwena as a player, Mr. Osi?
For me, it's two things. Number one, you found a team there that has been doing very well. So as a player, I know that my chances of breaking into Sundowns' first team as it stands is very hard. That one, everybody knows. The moment you sign for Sundowns, Matthews knows that he has to fight for his spot. Masego knows that he has to fight for a spot. So me thinking that day one, I'm going to replace other people of a team that's doing well. As a player, I think it's naive to think that one. But then number two, I don't see the split as being you play Champions League, you play PSL. I see it as, guys, we're playing every 3 days, right? Let's do this. You guys play 2 games, the next guys play 2 games. It could be CAF Champions League because you've got the king, or you've got to the group stages where you can afford to give up a lodge, quote unquote, to give up a lodge that game, for example. But for me, it's not split by these ones play this competition, that one play those competition. It's more to say, let's keep the cohesion of the team. So Lodge knows guaranteed that he's going to play 2 games every 2 weeks. You get what I mean? Guti Iliki, Guti Nedbank, Guti Champions League. He knows. And he knows that his place in his team is set. Like, you're not going to be fighting Tembazwane. Tembazwane is not going to be here today. For example, I'm just using Tembazwane as an example. He's not going to be here. It's your team. Zungu, you're not fighting Kutsia. You have your team that's going to play high-level games. That's the nice thing about Sundowns. If you Pirates and Shem, I say to the guys, no, guys, go play Nedbank. Hey, Hungry Lions, I beat him. Hungry Lions. No, Zungu could play Supersport tomorrow. That's the nice thing about Sundowns.
Yeah, I agree, Mr. Otsiga, but I think the best way to do it is not to tell my players what to do. Because you have my players nama reactions abo, Mr. Otsi. And I'm equal to my players.
Sundowns.
And you guys with Sundowns, if you're going to perform, you're going to get another chance to play the following game. Yeah, Mr. Otsi. So Masuzo introduce Leon Dog. He's a clash and all.
When push comes to shove, we know the first 15. Now I asked, you can name it to the eyes closed, the Sundowns. When it's hot versus Ahly, you know exactly what our full bonus certain players, right? My issue then becomes when it's hot versus Ahly, but player X has been playing the last 8 games. Can I trust Guti Ukolani, who has not played the 8 games? Mangimbiza, he's gonna be ready. I think that's my problem with the rotation is that, and maybe my issue is not necessarily the way he's rotating. My issue is that rotating a long term instead of going, let's rotate, but let's rotate in short-term bursts. Okay, Lunga, you've played very well, but I can't risk you getting tired. Then Mangbiz Kolan is not ready to play. Rather, Ulunga plays 3 games, some rotators Fagomunye for 3 games. For the fact that you'll then keep them all warm. You get me? But then
but Mr. Okay. Yeah, I also think we would see that's where a conditioning coach engena con. Like okay, this one can like go for like four games in a row, yeah, and low injury, we can't like play him for like 2 games in a row, yeah, Mr. Otsi. So yeah, it can go either way, Mr. Otsi. And lastly,
15, 30 players that are capable. That's why it's not necessarily good to you cut it down the middle all the way, but then I can say, Tolan, you're coming back from injury. You're gonna play. You could even play on both sides. 15 minutes for both teams while you get back to form, and then spawn a good after that. You know, you guys, that exam.
But some other players, Mr. Oti, will need 45 minutes to 60 to get back to Kuzani standard side.
We can still give them that.
Yeah, but waste this card. Just wanna reply to Ukaili. We can't compare RULANI no Pep situation because I found Man City is behind Arsenal and Liverpool, so you can't say Pep is not rotating players because he can't afford to rest some players. And another thing, Sundowns it's 12 points ahead of number 2, so Lomu can afford to rest players.
Yeah.
Mr. Otsinga was discussing for his cards.
Yeah, for time, guys. For time. Thank you so much, guys, for joining me tonight. If you have not followed, please follow. The show is on Monday to Thursday, 7 p.m. Friday, 12:30 in the afternoon, where my breadwinners are there, guys. Listen to the people that speak on the show. It's incredible. And I want to hear more of those things because I believe there are a lot of smart people here, but 2 hours is not enough. 2 hours is not enough in a day. We do have a WhatsApp group. There we go on for 24 hours back and forth, and I've learned so many things in that group. I've sharpened some of my own opinions. We have fought, we have bantered, we have done so many things. It's an incredibly vibrant place, and I really do want to hear from you guys more than anything because this is what makes the show. It's not me just speaking to you guys, but I think everybody deserves to jump onto that WhatsApp group so I can hear from you guys a little bit more. If you want to join the WhatsApp group, go on over to YouTube, click on subscribe, click on join. You'll get access to the WhatsApp group for just 20 Rand a month. And we'll be able to go back and forth for much longer. And you'll be able to speak to other people who are way smarter than me that I have the privilege of have met building this platform. So guys, thank you so much. I have a video out. Yes, I have a video out. 2 videos that I want you guys to please check out on my YouTube. Number 1, interview with Coach Richards Bay, Coach Muzi Vilakazi, friend of the show, where we discuss his coaching philosophies. We discuss coaching in the modern era. It's a very cool conversation that I had with him. That's on YouTube. And then also, I did a breakdown of why I think Sundowns is so successful and why other teams, man, just can't catch up. And here's just the tip. It's not just about money. There's a lot of things that Sundowns does that makes them head and shoulders above the rest. Please go ahead and check out that video. I think it's on 10,000 views now. Let's try push it up and tell me what you guys think in the comments. But guys, thank you so much for joining me. I will see you guys then tomorrow, 7 p.m. We'll talk about the draw. But then also, there was a conversation we had last week that we didn't have enough time to flesh out. About players, about how players, what we expect of players and whether we should expect those things. It was based off of Peterson shouting at coach and whether that was right or wrong. But we went into a very interesting place where I want to pick up that conversation tomorrow. So guys, please join me. I'll see you guys then tomorrow, 7 p.m.